suddenly recall developing catalysis in the shift, and the catalytic converter on my car blew. And then a short while later, when lots of people were projecting because of my excess catalysis, let's say, the shock absorbers on my car blew. They broke. And it's a beautiful example of how the inner journey, the inner inquiry, as you're developing, integrating soul, reflects into the outer and shapes the direct circumstances of our lives. In fact, it's amazing when you come to realize it, because you're taking ownership and exploring deep within, that every single event, circumstance happening in the external does so because of the journey of ascension of the soul on the inner world, traveling through the dimensions, through the densities, through our karma, through our resistances and our triggers. Everything creates in the external. And when we realize that, we're offered a profound opportunity, because we can take ownership. It doesn't matter how the other is reacting, how they are triggered, even if they're projecting at you. It doesn't matter if they're heavily distorted and you can see it. The question is, why did you create it? Why did you co-create that situation? If you take ownership, that means you're empowered in the situation. The moment you project blame onto the other, onto the shadow, onto the cabal, for example, the moment you project blame for your circumstances and situation onto somebody else is the moment you're disempowered by that situation. Because when you take ownership, when you look at the reflections and then say, well, no matter what the external is doing, how am I triggered? Where is my attachment? Where do I need it to go a certain way? Because the one in us doesn't need it to be a particular way, doesn't need a particular outcome, is awesomely okay being what it is, and is actually revealed and actualized by every situation and circumstance. And when you realize that, then you have an opportunity to own your own triggering, your own process, go deep into it, equalize with it, become as one with it, and then work to let go of the reaction, the triggering, where you might get tight, frustrated, anxious, wound up. Work on that. Let's say someone disrespects you. Let's say you are left on your own, or people in a group projecting at you. Well, the question is then, well, how am I not valuing myself? How am I not standing my ground and being sovereign, for example? There's the invitation. Is there something for me to work upon? And if I do that, if I go in, if I explore, if I work to unravel the triggering, the attachments, frustrations, then what's going to happen is I'm going to unleash a new aspect of soul, a new frequency, a new harmony into that given situation. That's going to transform it. What happens is now the other, or group or whatever, they have to respond differently because you're presenting differently. That invites them to shift their consciousness, evolve in their own way of being and acting, or else withdraw. So you're holding the power of your own creation. And even as the world goes crazy around us, as the simulation is challenged and is unwinding, we can channel the higher light, we can channel the higher movement, the higher infusions of consciousness, bring those to bear through our evolving being, and really transform the reality we're in. This is how and why we can say The inner journey of the soul relates directly into the external and how we can take power by owning what we create and working with the feedback, the reflections, the feedback loops that get created because of that. This is the opportunity available to us.
Own your shit. There's nothing more empowering than that.